Hey everyone! So we are live today on the SEO Leadership webinar. It's just myself and Darius today on the SEO Leadership webinar, which is going to be quite exciting and interesting. We don't actually have a guest on today. We are actually our own guests and our own interviewers at the same time. We wanted to sort of do this a little webinar together for you guys that are listening, and ideally base it towards and direct it towards SEO candidates or SEOs that are looking to apply for jobs within the next quarter or going into 2025, or ideally even look for a promotion. We're going to be touching on some interesting topics today. So even if you are a SEO team lead, this might be an interesting sort of conversation to listen in on. If you guys have any questions, pop them through in the comment section as well. We are going to be covering topics such as winning your interview stage, monthly review questions, salary negotiation tips, finding a mentor, and personal branding. We think that these sort of curated topics are going to help everyone going into 2025. So yeah, we're quite excited for today's webinar. Darius, how are you feeling?
Yeah, nervous, excited, ready to go.
feeling excited just to be on the guest panel today.
I don't like this side of things, to be honest.
We're prepping to speak at Brighton SEO next year. Basically, that's what's happening. So the first sort of topic that we're actually going to be covering in our sort of webinar today is winning your interview stage. And we're just going to go in chronological order. Something that really interested me in when we were sort of looking for research to cover this topic and prepping it with our blogs and our newsletters as well was this one key statistic, which was, did you know that hiring managers spend an average of 7 seconds glancing over an applicant's CV? That's insanely wild to me, especially considering how much time you spend making your CV. That's a lot of years that you want to put into your CV, a lot of experience, a lot of projects and everything. And to have it be just 7 seconds off an average that hiring managers see. Your CV is your elevator pitch, and you need to sell that well. So we're going to be covering some awesome topics to sort of cover within your CV and move it from the application process into the interview stage. LinkedIn pulled an article recently, put up an article recently that I pulled this from, which was quite insane as well. With LinkedIn having so many job ads up at the moment and so many applications, I'm sure that SEOs have been seeing this and candidates all over. There's an average of 200 applicants per new job. This is pulled from LinkedIn. That's insane. And in addition to that, 9,000 members are applying for a job every single minute on LinkedIn. So combine that with the 7 seconds, that's a lot of pressure on candidates to find their next job. So, Darius, I want to ask you, how do we solve that? Can you tell us a little bit about some topics that candidates can sort of implement if they are looking for jobs at the moment to help them sort of stand out and attract the attention of a hiring manager, especially an SEO team lead that may be looking for their next teammate?
Yeah, no, I think you hit the nail on the head when you said about how long it takes to create your CV and stuff like that. And for somebody, Tony, that got it for 6-7 seconds is can be quite disheartening. But I was playing around with a couple of GPTs on ChatGPT yesterday and the day before. Basically, there's a lot of cool ways you can like update your CV from like your current one. You can download your LinkedIn profile. It spits out questions about different about like any targets you've hit, whether it's KPIs, financial targets, leadership qualities, everything like that. So it does give you what to put into it as well. Like it will give you the full like work experience as well. But I think it's better to rewrite that yourself. It's just really good for like idea generation and like sometimes I sit down and I'm like, or if anybody else is sitting down, it's almost hard to say what you do on it, when you're writing your CV, like it's like what to actually do all day and work. But it's a good idea for that. It includes a lot of sort of figures and stuff like that, which makes you think. But yeah, one of the biggest things I think over this year alone, I think 89% of candidates that we've put forward to our clients 89% of them who've had side projects have been taken to interviews, which just shows how important having something to like, not necessarily just your CV. It doesn't have to be like a big side project, like a big website or anything like that, but having something that you can showcase your talent with alongside that really, really like sort of goes that extra level. So you can have a side project, you can make your CV a bit more interactive, you can include like links to like an external Google Doc that just goes through like a case study about like a particular sort of client you're working with at the minute or one you've done in the past. What I always say to candidates as well, it doesn't always have to be a positive case study. So it doesn't always have to be like, everything pointing in the right way. So like clients love to see like, a website that or a client that hasn't done well for some reason. So whenever the helpful content update came out and stuff like that, show a client that has like gone down and like is on its way back up again, and just talk them through like why it happened, and what your plan is to sort of get it back on track. Because more importantly, clients want to see the way you think. SEO results are never going to go in the right direction all the time. If they did, it wouldn't be that hard of a job. So clients love to see what way you think, and that attracts them more to the interview stage, rather than just having 3 case studies of everything going well for you.
I think that's insane in regards to implementing and including ChatGPT into your CV as well. And I actually want to come back to that because, I mean, using AI to sort of help build your CV out is impressive. But, you mentioned using LinkedIn and pulling from your LinkedIn. You're naturally working with a lot of clients and managing both the clients and the candidates. How important is the personal branding aspect of, SEO candidates, especially when applying for jobs?
Yeah, I think it can be. It definitely doesn't hurt if you have a big sort of personal brand and stuff like that. It can also open a lot more opportunities for you as well. Like there's been a huge amount of layoffs, team restructurings and stuff like that. That's caused a huge sort of upset in the industry. And there's a lot of people looking for jobs at the minute. I was speaking to a guy yesterday who is just finishing up this week, and already just from his LinkedIn connection has 2 calls set up for next week of people. And this is something on like a 6-figure plus role. So already has 2 companies that are having a chat with him next week, just purely based off his LinkedIn personal brand and stuff like that. So it definitely doesn't, make things any worse. But again, I've seen some top quality SEOs who have, just been in the trenches doing the work, probably more than the 9 to 5, who don't have a huge personal brand on LinkedIn and are still absolutely smashing it and are still at the top of their game and earning the big salaries as well. So it definitely does depend on your preference. But I'd say, for those sort of bigger roles, if for those sort of roles that might not come up necessarily on LinkedIn or on Indeed and stuff like that, it's always good to have a personal brand.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, I actually heard of a similar story of an SEO who recently also got a job just from posting through their LinkedIn, and their sort of employee was appreciating their videos and just being able to see their face out there and the way they talk. Something that I found was so interesting was that employees are starting to see like a person's soft skills through their LinkedIn brand as well, seeing how they think, how they talk, how they communicate and stuff like that, and also like just having it be a general sort of practice to get you to a point of perfection with those soft skills. It's been such a hot topic at the moment. I think before we wrap up the interview stage, I wanted to ask you one question in regards to presentation of your work, because I think that, like, I mean, it's always interesting to see how people present their work nowadays. I mean, like that's sort of, it's moved from having a cover letter to, putting together your side projects and putting together like a really strong presentation. Do you have any tips to like SEOs that are putting together like a good, strong portfolio, or have you seen any portfolios that you can like sort of relate back to and like kind of conceptualize any sort of standout features from them?
Yeah, the ones that are like the top sort of like 1% are people that have built their own website all about them, not in like a egotistical way or anything like that, but they've basically put their CV on a website, made it interactive, have like different like sort of case studies of people going through, if they've written any blogs, different blogs that companies can go and see as well, everything like that. So being able to show that you can actually build a website yourself, design it, and make it as interactive as possible, I think is a real standout for companies as well. That's probably the top. And then after that, I think, yeah, just having it clear. Don't have about 4 or 5 pages of work history. Have it like 1 to 2 pages max. Make it interactive, showcase like SEMrush results, graphs, and everything like that. And yeah, keep it to like facts and figures. So keep it between sort of 6 to 8 bullet points for each work experience, and that should be plenty to cover, 3 years up with the company.
Nice, that's awesome. Just before we move on to the next topic, which is going to be monthly review questions to ask, and I'm very excited about that one. Someone asked in our comment section, what is some advice that you would sort of offer to employees who are looking to do SEO sponsorships and visas? We actually are currently building that out on our website, and we've recently put up a blog on how Australian SEO agencies can sponsor UK talent. We're going to be putting out more content on that. So if you would like some information, I'd love to redirect your guys' attention after the webinar to our website, so you guys can check that out as well. It's quite interesting, and we're going to be currently naturally building that up over time. So SEO agency owners, team leads, and SEOs alike, you all can go check that out on our website. Cool. Next question / topic that we want to talk about is monthly review questions to ask. So I actually found this one quite interesting when you and Josh brought this up and wanted to build this sort of topic and piece of content out, because naturally you would just think that, your monthly review is just your monthly review where your manager just tells you what went wrong and what went right in your review. And then you're like, cool, I'll take that into the next month. Thanks. And I loved the mental shift that happened when sort of building out this topic, because a lot of candidates can actually use this as an asset. Having your monthly review not just be something where someone's telling you what went right and what went wrong. It can also provide a really awesome opportunity for you to ask the right questions, to incorporate yourself more into the team and into the company and into the business, to help yourself become an asset to the team. So before we actually get into a few of the questions, there's a few things that we wanted to sort of mention when preparing yourself to step into a monthly review meeting, because it can be quite stressful. So a few things that you want to consider that are the benefits from having a monthly review is it allows you to properly reflect, gain clearer understanding of how to make a positive impact in the business, as well as help grow the team, but also help yourself become a stronger teammate within the company, and also for your own personal development at the end of the day. A few things that you want to consider remembering before asking the questions are 2 things that we want to sort of cover, which is always ask hard questions, but be open to honest feedback. If you are going to ask the hard questions, those are the ones that are going to make the most difference, but you have to look at it with a positive sort of spin and mindset. And the second thing is, remember to always angle your questions around always wanting to learn. I think that's such an important thing. Everyone that's involved in a monthly review meeting wants positive results out of it. They want solutions. So no one's coming to fight, and that everyone is just sort of sitting in this room wanting to learn, wanting to grow, and wanting to have a better month. So yeah, those are 2 things that we'd like you to consider. And also, I have something in bold saying, remember to only select 1 to 3 questions that best apply to you. So as we're going to go over these topics, please just keep that in mind and don't make your poor hiring manager sit through 15 questions. So Darius, I think let's just start on the topic of performance and feedback. Do you have any advice, and what would you sort of recommend?
Yeah, I think a lot of it, especially when you're junior, it is nerve-wracking going into like a monthly review. There's a lot going on, especially if you're settling into like a new role and things like that. But one thing I always would like to recommend is to check in with your manager about your time management. So not necessarily like, being in on time and things like that, but how many hours you do and spend on specific tasks, is that worth it? So for example, bring up last month I spent X hours on this sort of technical task. Is that a valuable use of my time? And the manager can then, go in and be like, okay, I think you're spending a bit too long on that. Here's a quicker way to do it. Or else give you that sort of reassurance that, yeah, if you are spending a lot of time on something, at least you should be, and at least you're doing the right thing. So making sure that your time is split up evenly and you're not getting like sort of pigeonholed into like one task for too long, and that you can still sort of take that step back and focus on like the bigger picture.
Awesome. I also really liked the behavior side of things in regards to the performance and feedback section. Something that was quite interesting was that you are working with your team for most of your life, so like your day to day is mainly working with your team, and that takes up a good chunk of your day. And having someone sitting on the outside looking in and seeing how you're performing and how your behaviors are, it's so nice to see how they sort of spot that and identify that. And like there's been so many times, I mean personally as well, where I would be like, oh, that's interesting to know, because you're so focused on your own work. So a really cool question in regards to the skills and behavior section is, what skills or behaviors should I focus on to enhance my performance further? I think it's quite a difficult question. It is a tough one to swallow, because some people can have like quite interesting answers in regards to that, but it is something quite useful to take into consideration in your next month. Another question that I really liked that you had actually brought up, Darius, was to provide examples of things that have happened within the month. So say, for example, like early on in the month, this project, could have been 3 days earlier, if there was better support, during that time or something like that. So I think using example-based questions for that sort of section is really nice. I've also got written down over here as an example from you, which is, I missed this KPI. Is there any guidance that I could receive to make up for this in the coming months? Yeah, I think that's something quite interesting.
Definitely. And I
And then,
think just on that as well, like it's always good to like look at what you did that month, but I think especially for like sort of junior people as well, it's always more reassuring to get a bit of insight into the next month as well. So like just ask, are there any new sort of like new priority or goals that we're focusing on next month? Because when you're a junior SEO, a lot of time you're focused like in the trenches, just like doing like a lot of execution work. Whereas like the manager or the head off could be focusing on like bringing in like 2 or 3 new clients that you're not aware about yet. So if they can sort of give you that heads up, like, listen, in the second week here, we're going to be working on this and sort of new ecom client, at least then you can focus on like getting sort of the bulk of your work out of the way, or like prepping for that as well. So I think just having that in the back of your head, like that you can line stuff up for the next month, so you're not overwhelmed, or, for next month's monthly review as well.
it's actually so funny, because the next sort of section I was going to cover was goal alignment and progress. But I think that this section sort of like really juices out how you can use monthly reviews to your benefit, which is to help you understand how SEO and your projects and your tasks fall into the wider sort of business, even at like at junior and exec level. One of the main questions that I really liked from this section, just to add on to that one, which is, can we discuss my career development and how my current work fits into long-term growth? We spoke about, I won't sort of say their name, but they're an SEO agency that offers really strong career roadmaps and progressions. How have you seen that sort of become an attraction point for juniors and SEOs, juniors and SEO execs that are sort of looking to join their team?
Yeah, big time. It's a big green flag for us as well whenever we go into our initial sort of client calls and they have like a set structure in place or a set sort of career progression map in place. Like there's a client that we're working with at the minute on the US side that looking like it's just an SEO specialist. So, you know, they can come in initially at a tier one, which is 60 to 70K USD. And then with that role, so they don't need to wait for anybody else to leave. There's already the progression within this role up to an SEO specialist tier 3, which can get you up to 110K USD. So being able to have that progression and know that, you know, there's nothing in my way here that can stop me from hitting this apart from obviously myself. So that gives you confidence, that gives you hunger, it gives you drive, a lot more motivation to actually put in the work, learn, be at the top of your game. And, you know, within two years, you can be up onto like a 6-figure salary within that company. And then that's only the starting point from there. There's more progressions onto like SEO management level, or if you want to go down like the individual contributor route, you can do that as well. So I think having that and showcasing that you're not going to get pigeonholed or you're not going to get blocked in by such a sort of tight structure above you is key, and it should motivate any sort of junior SEO.
Awesome. In terms of skills development, I really liked this sort of point that you had brought up recently, which was, you know, it's so easy for junior SEOs to sort of become very niche or into a specific, working in a specific sort of industry. And if you are looking for career sort of diversification or just industry diversification within being, you know, in SEO, a really interesting way that you can bring this up within your monthly reviews is to ask, you know, sort of a example-based question is, I've been working within SEO, within e-commerce clients recently. Are there any B2B clients that I could take on to expand my portfolio and diversify my skill set? I think that that's such a sort of a powerful example, and you can sort of twist that and turn that to your liking. So yeah, if any SEOs are looking for that. And then I think I'd like to also just focus on the sort of present and beyond sort of questions within your monthly reviews as well. We covered a section called future growth and development. There's some questions here that we've sort of discussed, which is, where do you see me in the next 6 months to a year? And how can I prepare for that role? Are there any opportunities for advancements or new responsibilities that I should aim for? And what steps should I take to to be considered for promotions or larger roles within the company? Do you have any sort of add-ons to that or notes to SEOs, execs, and juniors that are looking to sort of prepare themselves for bigger roles?
Yeah, it's difficult. I think, you know, it only comes with time and confidence. You know, the more chance you have of or experience of getting exposed to like larger sort of clients is going to be key. If you can pick up extra work or, you know, ask to work across departments. So whether it's with like the DPR team, do like a small sort of project with them, and you can give your insights into like how SEO affects the digital PR and how like they can affect your SEO and stuff like that as well. So trying to gain like a more sort of holistic view of like sort of multi-channel rather than just focusing solely on SEO, because when you get to sort of director level or head off level, those are the things that separate the good from the, you know, the great. So whether you're just focusing on just your own department or whether you can holistically involve SEO with digital PR, web development, everything like that, and work across those different teams.
Yeah, we've had a lot of sort of growth advisors and SEO leads come on into our webinars and podcast as well on Diary of an SEO. And a lot of them noted, you know, their biggest wish for junior SEOs or SEOs that are looking to level up in their careers is two things: enhancing communication and soft skills to improve cross collaboration, but also just continuously practicing how SEO works within the bigger business. Because at the end of the day, you know, like if you are speaking to, you know, the CMO or something like that, they want to know the big targets. How is it affecting? How is it moving the needle? So yeah, those are really important. Moving on to, I think, Darius's favorite topic, which is salary negotiation tips. You know, I know you've been I know you've been like itching away to like tackle this sort of topic. It is very interesting, but it's also a very difficult topic to tackle. And I know that Darius has a lot of experience in this. So yeah,
Unfortunately.
my only unfortunately, my sort of only opening line to this, which is actually just the biggest statement and shocker, is that only 29% of candidates negotiated their salary in their most recent role. This was pulled from a research doc that I was looking into, and that's yeah quite interesting to note. And with that in mind, Darius, do you have
Yeah.
any tips for salary negotiations, and why more than 29% of candidates should be looking into tackling these conversations? Are people scared? What's going on?
Yeah, I think it comes with a lot of sort of like negative connotations, people for some reason think that if you're negotiating your salary, you're greedy or you want more or you don't love the company. As soon as you could be working there for 3 4 years, but as soon as you mention, can I get paid a bit more, everybody's like, whoa,
Mm,
what about our culture? Like, you don't want to like us anymore. And it's just like, no, like just give me a few more grand. Like so I think it comes with a lot of like sort of negativity around it, which I don't know if like companies themselves have sort of tried to generate that so people don't do it or what. But no, I think it's very fair, but it comes down to obviously how you approach it. I think candidates at the minute are finding it awkward to have those conversations. So it's almost easier to, go and apply for a role that is 5 or 10 grand more in a similar location, because you don't have to have those sort of awkward conversations. It's exciting, you're meeting a new team, you're on a higher salary and stuff like that. There's none of that sort of awkwardness. So
mm,
I think companies need to do their best. Like, we have a couple of clients that are really good and have it actually as their policy that staff should never have to ask for a salary review because it's getting reviewed constantly. So whether it's every quarter or after every sort of project, they go through and they hand out either bonuses or they review, what the current salary are on and how they are affecting the business overall. So I think identifying the companies that encourage it is definitely a key for candidate side of things. And then yeah, making sure that when you do it, that you're going about it the right way. You don't want to put it as like a shock onto their head and be like, give me more money or else I leave, because the job market is tricky at the minute. Agency side especially are finding it tough. So there generally might not be the budget for it. So it might not be, if you ask them, it might not even be that, it's down to your performance. Like, they might think you're absolutely killing it, they might love you, but they generally just don't have the resources to, to bump you up by like 5 or 10,000, even though, they wish they could. So having that chat, making it clear that you're both on the same page can actually help a lot. Going in with sort of facts and data to back up your reasoning. I think everybody would take an extra 5 or 10 grand on top of their salary. So you have to show that you deserve it, and it's actually been earned, rather than just sort of demanding it without any sort of context. So going in, understanding, it's probably a bit easier once you get to like sort of management level, because you can see, like, account managers can see how much sort of their client book is worth, whether it's like 200, 500, over a mil. SEO directors can see how much money they're bringing in with like new business and things like that as well. So they can have a direct sort of line to see how much revenue they're generating for their business. SEO sort of execs and stuff like that, or specialists who are focused more on execution side, again, the value still there. It's just a bit harder to see. So what sort of like retainer are they on? If I know not everybody can find that out, but if you can ask your manager, ask the head off, they should be more than happy to tell you, okay, these guys are on like 15,000 a month, these guys are on 40,000 a month. So having that sort of book of work underneath you can showcase your value. If you're managing over £100,000 worth of work on a monthly basis, show that to the client, or show that to your own company, and use that to be like, listen, I'm working on 6 figures a month. I think I deserve to be an extra 5,000. A year ago I was only doing maybe like 50,000 a month and stuff like that. My workload doubled, the quality of work I'm doing is doubled. So yeah, I think I should be fairly compensated for that. And once you put it in black and white, there's not really sort of, it takes away that yes or no from the company, and it's more just, hopefully either just saying, you're right, you deserve it, or else they sit down and be like, right, okay, I'm really impressed with this. If you can get to, number X, so like 120,000 over the next sort of 6 months or 3 months, then we'll increase it by Y amount. So having that just sort of sit down and coming up with a plan together is crucial.
Mm. Yeah, and I think to add to that as well, I think just one last point which I had on this was grow. I think it's important to note that, you know, having that conversation earlier rather than later will take more pressure off of yourself as well. So that no doesn't hit as hard if it is a no. And there is more room to like grow and figure things out. So just keep in mind that I think this is just you opening up the conversation to be had, for the next few months and stuff. It's not just we're going to have this conversation once and then never speak about it again. It's something that is a healthy conversation to sort of include into your conversations within your team management. We
And if there's
are. Mm,
So I was just going to finish it off with, if there's any debate, I know people always say about, find out the market average and things like that. You could Google the market average for like an SEO manager role and it could tell you anything from 35 to like 85. So if you're really stuck and you're not sure what sort of salary you should be on and stuff like that, feel free to drop me a message or the team a message. And we can get back to you, because does depend a lot on like company size, location, and everything like that. So drop us a message and we should put a nice bracket in there for you.
Awesome. We actually are running a little bit over time, but I wanted to, as we did promote it, talk about finding a mentor and cover a few just key important tips on this, because it is quite a sort of important sort of topic of conversation. So I think we can quickly run through this within the next like less than 5 minutes, which is if SEOs are listening in and they are interested in looking for a mentor. Something that is really important that we would like to encourage you with is that you can increase your level of thinking and performance of up to almost 5+ years within the span of just 3 years by having a mentor. They can help fast track your career, help you understand your mental sort of patterns and how to work it more towards somewhat of a leadership level SEO way of thinking. I pulled a study up by MentorClick. They spoke about a report that they had done, which is that they found 84% of US Fortune 500 companies and 100% of US Fortune 50 companies believe so much in strategy that they have formal mentoring programs. Darius, do you have any sort of advice towards finding a mentor if SEOs are struggling to find out what their first step is towards getting a mentor?
Yeah, it's difficult. I think, again, similar to like the salary, there can be a few sort of hesitations with the people don't want to seem like they don't know anything, or like, their knowledge isn't as good, but they might be scared to ask for advice, or, ask for somebody to teach them and stuff like that. But honestly, I think socialize, go to networking events, use your LinkedIn following, stuff like that. Don't be afraid. All of the best SEOs have had mentorship in one shape or another. It might not have been, sit down with me for half an hour and teach me about SEO. It could be they had like a really good manager when they were junior who worked with them one-on-one for like, an hour a week or an hour a day, and things like that, that they just got exposed by that way. Obviously now with things being remote, it's a lot harder to do that. So this is a sort of like quite a relatively new thing with whole sort of mentorship and stuff like that. But yeah, identifying somebody that works in similar niches that you think you're interested in, whether it's sports, retail, e-com, SaaS, anything like that. Finding them and then, drop them a message, just say, any chance you do some mentorship, I can pay, or I can do whatever. Chat to people at networking events, go to talks, look at courses by people that you're interested in and stuff like that. I think it's the best way to go about it.
Awesome. Yeah, and just to add to that, I also thought was quite interesting in our notes that in addition to the topics mentioned, chatting to your colleagues, if you have like an head of SEO or SEO director of SEO that may not be too free time-wise to help you, they could also recommend you or refer you to one of their friends or someone within their network that does offer those SEO mentorship programs, or can just, assist you if you ever do need that time and support.
Yeah.
So that's
Being
another thing that you can also use.
definitely like being an SEO isn't an easy job. So like people that do it because they love it. They like the ups and downs. They like the fact that you constantly have to learn. So approaching somebody who is senior, like they're going to be more than happy to like tell you about SEO, because most people it is like a passion and they do love it. So being able to share that with somebody is, they're going to love doing that as well. It's not going to be, and oh, I have to do this mentorship thing. They're going to be really keen about it and things like that as well. So yeah, just ask.
Awesome. And if you guys are also looking for people to follow in the industry, we are always bringing SEOs onto our SEO leadership webinar. So check us out on YouTube, find our playlists, and you can go give all of those guys a follow as well, and check out their content. They post some amazing stuff as well. I hope that, I think we've covered everything, but I hope that everyone who listened in today found some useful tips from that. Darius, any last words?
Enjoy your weekend, everybody.
All right. Thank you, everyone, for listening in. And Darius, thanks for coming on. And we'll chat to you guys soon. And we'll see you next week, Friday, for another SEO leadership webinar. Have a good weekend. Man, I was hoping that